Jameis Winston. Here we go. We were hyping him up last week.
Yep.
And now we have the 3-interception game that we kind of been waiting for. And what's the contingency plan if he starts to suck really bad? Because the Saints have a decent roster, right? Michael Thomas is back. Defense looks really good. Kamara's out, but I think
Kamara didn't play in this one. He'll be back probably. Nothing too
I think
serious.
He's coming back pretty soon. But if we see old Jameis, that style of, every touchdown I throw an interception to match it, do you go to Andy Dalton? When do you make that decision, you think?
I don't think you can at this point. Their problem is more the cap situation, how much punting they've done down the road of cap, how much cap manipulation they've done. They're invested in Jameis Winston at the quarterback position. And if he's good Jameis Winston, they're going to win games. And when he's bad Jameis Winston, they're going to lose games. And that's the fate of their entire season. It's the fate of their entire season.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
If he throws 3 interceptions, it's quarterback play good, team win. Quarterback play bad,
weird concept.
Yes, right. Like it sounds like the basics of football, but in this case, it really does depend because his range is too big, right? If you had somebody, I always pick on Mac Jones, but to me, Mac Jones doesn't have a high ceiling, doesn't have a high floor, or doesn't have a low floor. So he's got this narrow range of good, right? He's good. He's never great. He's not terrible. He's good. And if you're a team that needs good, like the Patriots are, that bodes well for you. Jameis Winston has a high ceiling and a very low floor. So it's this wide range of which Jameis are you going to get? And we saw the good last week. We see a little bit of the bad creep in here. And it's unfortunate because he needs to, in order to make that criticism go away, he needs to put together a string of good games.
Right.
And then they'll say, okay, 1 3-interception game by a quarterback normally would not change the narrative of that quarterback. It's not because, he threw 3 interceptions, he's a bad quarterback all of a sudden. No, you let the record speak for itself. It's only because he had that infamous season a few years ago of 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
Right.
That leaves a bad taste in people's
cost
mouth.
him his job, really. That year cost him
absolutely
his job in Tampa. And it's just weird as a coach, because we want to see that string of good games. So let's say we give him 3. In your head, I want to see 3 more games from him. But then what if they're all bad? What if you see 2 more bad games? I think we could see Andy Dalton in, where are we at now? So week 4 is the earliest.
Wow, you really think so? If they have 2 more bad games,
they're going to go to 2 more bad games. What I think you have to, right?
Again, I think they're stuck with Jameis Winston. So no is my answer.
Well, I think that's why you have Andy Dalton on the bench. He's one of the better backups in the league.
True.
They bring him in for that reason.
Yes, but Andy Dalton doesn't give you a high ceiling either.
But so that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't turn the ball over and we might
you totally change. Yeah, I guess you could totally change the approach and say, okay, Kamara's back and healthy and we're going to rely on that and, be the even pace team and not the one that, Jameis can throw the ball deep and he can throw it deep and make plays, and he has legs that can make plays and Andy Dalton doesn't. So, I mean, it's a total game change plan at that point. And although he is kind of a protection, I think it's going to take more than just a couple bad games from Jameis to go to Dalton.
Okay, so you think maybe...
Because you can't go back, really. You can't say, now Andy Dalton's our quarterback for 2 days. Oh, now he looks really bad. Oh, let's go back to Jameis. Too late. Season's over.
You're thinking like week 8 or something like that would be better.
Correct. Yeah, way later in the season when you're like, okay, Jameis isn't getting it done, and now we're done with Jameis, and Andy's the guy. And if Andy Dalton's just as bad, guess what? Too bad, season's over, right? But we're going with Andy at that point. So that's why I think they're stuck with him for a while.
And really, it's kind of a bummer that Taysom Hill's a tight end, right? Because you could pull him in. But I think once you go that position, can he play quarterback? I guess you could.
Yeah, they could put him under center. The tight end can snap the ball, I guess.
But I think you have to have at least one quarterback on the roster, right? So if Andy Dalton's I don't know how that would work, but it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, it would be, but they seem to have moved away from that. I'm sure they can use it in trick plays every once in a while with Taysom Hill being able to throw the ball. Yeah. But yeah, it's Andy or Jameis at this point.
Yeah, I think Denver played a receiver at quarterback last year, so it can be done.